Okay, what's going on, Mr. Klaus?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm all right, man. How you been doing?
Yeah, I'm back in Sweden now.
Yeah, back in Svalia,
Yeah,
back in the homeland.
yeah,
What's going on up there anyway?
it's not so great to be
Ah,
back, honestly, but
just
it's
politically
some
correct. Just
fresh air at least.
there you go. Yeah, fresh air. Lot of politically correct shit happening up there, as we all know.
Yes, yes,
That's fun. Lot of feminists.
yes. Did you see the SAS ad, the Scandinavian Airlines advertisement?
No, no, I heard about it though. I
Yes,
heard
yes.
about it. Yeah. I was just
The,
watching a video on that. This guy called Bjorn something. He's actually a
um,
Norwegian guy. He's kind of an outdoors guy. He does make some good videos. He was talking about it. What the hell is going on with that? What is that? You tell me, man, so I know.
I mean, I don't really care about ads and stuff, but I watch it at least. So
Yeah.
it's this Scandinavian Airlines company. They made
Mm,
this ad for their company,
mm.
and they it's like nothing is really
That's
Scandinavian.
right.
Basically, that's their point.
Yeah.
And like the examples they give are like correct. Like yeah, Swedish meatballs are Turkish and stuff.
Mm,
Okay, but
mm.
they say that literally nothing is Scandinavian, basically. Like we should not exist. Like
What the fuck? Why do they
we should
fucking
not be
hate?
proud of this. And it's like the same company uses the uniqueness of Scandinavia
Yeah.
to get customers.
That's
But
right. That's right.
I mean, if there was nothing unique in Scandinavia,
Mm.
why would anyone come here?
Mhm.
Why would there be tourists here at all?
It's
And of
like
course, and the tourists fly here with their airline,
that's
so
right.
it's completely
Come to Scandinavia. Oh, check it out. Ancient history, Vikings,
yeah.
fucking nice little smorgasbord, sandwich tables and shit. It's so nice. Because they want to appeal to people. But then on the other side, don't offend anyone. Everyone's
Mm,
equal. Come up to nice Scandinavia where everything's fucking bland and
yeah.
everyone's equal. It's like we can advertise to everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of the same with the LGBT marches
Mm-hmm.
as well nowadays. I think many decades ago they were really kind of profound
Mm-hmm.
things, but now it's like companies
Mm-hmm.
that just join there
Yeah.
to advertise their
Yeah.
products and shit.
Yeah. That
So
it's yeah.
it, it's just that,
Yeah.
like it's just companies trying to sell you stuff, and
Yeah.
I guess people buy it. Actually, it's if it's pro-feminist, then people actually buy into it.
Yeah, because they think people think that if they put a little rainbow fucking tag on it, if they
Mm,
call it fucking feminist, somehow they think that that's good.
yeah,
Like it's a company trying to make money, bro. They're trying to make money, and they're just using your little flag. They're just using your little feminist shit as a way to make money off you, man. That's the end of it.
yeah. And like with actual, Marxist theory, for example, like they
Hmm.
are very critical of this. They call this
Okay.
commodity fetishism,
Interesting.
which is this is Marx's idea
Interesting.
that with like ideas and values become fetishized
Hmm.
into commodities,
Interesting.
so that we sort of live in a society where we don't express ourselves sort of authentically or organically or democratically, but we express ourselves through commodities and
Hmm.
purchasing power.
Hmm.
And that's sort of one of Marx's biggest critiques, actually. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that on the sort of deeper levels of sort of leftist thought, there are these really, really good points.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
modern feminists don't even know about that. They just I don't know, that they just look at some really really narrow-minded.
Yeah.
They just look at the skin deep stuff. They don't
Yeah,
really even
yeah.
know this leftist theory at all. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like it's funny because they did that to all like the kind of like the hip hop culture, like all the black dudes who had their own culture, who they like created that out of living in the ghetto and their own experiences, and they made music about it, and they had fashion and everything. And the mainstream, they just co-opted that. They just stole that away, and then just used that hip hop culture to sell fucking cars. And they're just that's all they
that's
did.
a prime example.
Yeah, that's all they did. They just stole that culture and then they just used it at the Super Bowl halftime show to sell Pepsi Cola. And it's like that's all they did. They took the struggle of like decades and decades of a bunch of black dudes getting, you know what I mean, getting hassled by the police or shooting each other in gang warfare, and because they're poverty and because of like generations of oppression. And so they were able to express that through music and through hip hop music, whatever, in fashion. The mainstream took that and just were like, "Oh yeah, we love hip hop. We could sell it. We could sell a few cans of Pepsi to some black dudes. Let's do it."
And of course, they sell the whole aesthetic to mainly like suburban middle class white kids, like, hey, you can buy these like ghetto T-shirts or something, and then you can also be like in that style. So this is exactly it. That you don't express yourself through your actual life story,
right,
but you just buy something.
Yeah, and it's like because it's easy to relate to, in a way. It's like, oh, that black dude who grew up in the ghetto, he had a hard go. And it was hard, so it's easy to take a hold of and be like, yeah, it was hard, yeah. And some white dude does that, and he can relate. But it's like, dude, that's not your struggle, bro. It's like your struggle's being in the suburbs. What's that like? I'm sure it was hard in a different way. Let's hear about that.
Yeah.
But see how he doesn't do that, and so he never can express himself. He just listens to some hip hop album and thinks that's his life. It's like, dude, that's not your life, man.
Yeah. And I found the most sort of insane example of this, like the ripped jeans. You can buy the ripped jeans in the store. So people pay extra for clothes that are already broken, so they can give the impression that they are actually like
a hard worker,
rich or something like that. It's really insane.
But yeah, we do that so much, man. Like we're always trying to rip things off, but that with the Swedish or the Scandinavian Airlines.
Yes.
Man, I mean, honestly, like it's just this absolute, total and complete disregard for one's own heritage and one's own historical experience of reality, and just disregarding that for the sake of what? A little bit of money? Like a little tiny bit of like whatever's fashionable right now? Oh, it's fashionable for everyone to be fucking equal. And now Sweden should just throw away thousands of years of history? Like, it's fucking bananas.
Yeah, and I've been really thinking about this a lot because I have like a little outsider perspective on Sweden as well. So I sort of see it through everything, like all the norms, basically. And I think that Swedes actually are secretly quite like racist,
Oh,
and
really?
they really marginalize people.
Really?
Even me, just because I'm
Really?
from Holland, they
Really?
like they don't really accept me, and
Right, yeah. Åland is for people who don't know, it's just a small island just outside of Sweden. It's actually technically its own country, but it's kind of part of Sweden in a way. Yeah.
yeah, it's part of Finland
Right.
actually, but we speak Swedish there
Right.
and have our own parliament. It is really weird,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think Swedes they just put on this show
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm not racist.
Right.
Look at us.
Mm.
So they can like be sort of racist
Hmm.
in the convenient ways
Mm.
that they wanna be,
Hmm. And
while
it's
still pretending
yeah.
to not be.
I
They
could
put on
kind of
this
see
big
that.
show.
Yeah, and it's like I'd rather if they just accepted it, if they just came right out and were like, hey, you know what? We don't want anyone else coming here. Straight up.
Yeah,
That's how we feel. And in a way I could respect that. I could be like, oh, okay. That's how they want it. Cool.
yeah,
Maybe it's a little racist, but okay. That's how they want to do things. Great. That's a little different. But they don't do that. They secretly behind their back behave like that because it's still true. All the really rich people in Sweden still live in their like secluded areas that none of the newcomers have access to anyway.
yeah. And I mean, there is like still a lot of segregation here in both uh, class and
Yep, for sure.
race as
Yeah,
well.
for
You
sure.
have the ghettos and so
Yeah,
on, and
for sure.
yeah, it really just feels like this big pretend
Yeah,
show
yeah, I
to be
agree with
like
that. It's so weird.
morally self-righteous
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, no, 100%. It's like, look how nice we are. We
Yeah,
invited millions of other people to come and live in our country. Look how nice we are. Oh, by
mm,
the way, I live way out in the suburbs in a giant house and drive a brand new fucking Volvo, and I only
yeah,
I only see those people once a month when I drive into the city to go to a fucking opera or something.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, but I'm so good and I'm so nice. And oh,
Mm.
where do your kids go to school? Oh, a private school.
Yeah, there are lots of private schools in Sweden.
Yeah,
I was really surprised by this.
yeah,
Compared to the other Scandinavian countries, it's
mm,
really crazy.
I
Like they have the Muslim free schools,
oh
private
yeah,
schools,
yeah,
where they like segregate men and women.
yeah. I believe that. I believe that.
And this is really unique to Sweden,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
in Scandinavia.
Sweden's fine with that. They're
Yeah,
fine with that kind of segregation. Oh, but you guys are equal, are you? By the way, there's schools here where they segregate men and women. No, that's okay. That's okay.
yeah,
It's like they're so fucked. Like it's so demented. Like the entire like hyper like liberal mentality is so twisted. It's so convoluted. It's like everything they do is like it's like for your own. It's like everything they do is like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like
yes, exactly.
everything they do is ruining shit, but it's for your own good.
Mm. And yeah, like Swedish police, Swedish laws are quite tough. Also, because I came from the Netherlands with train, so it was I took a bus from Denmark to
Mm,
Sweden.
mm,
So we went through the border control, and like all these police came in there like really aggressively. They were Swedish police.
yeah.
They said the dog was like interested in my bag or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like I just had like a normal knife there, just like normal knife. Just I wanted to cut some duct tape with that and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, you have this ready to stab someone? Like this is a deadly weapon," and they took it from me, the knife. And this was like the border
Yeah.
to Malmö,
Yeah.
which is like the worst criminal city in
I'm
Sweden,
aware.
where
Oh, I'm aware. I know.
they throw hand grenades. You have these
Yeah.
gangs that throw hand grenades and
I know.
each other and so
It's a fucking
you know,
mess.
I can't even have a fucking knife
Well, exactly,
in
and
my bag.
it's because the police can't fucking do anything about the entire big fucking thing burning to the ground. So what they do is they focus on this little thing here. Bad Klaus with a knife. Bad. And it's like, oh, by the way, do you guys know there's fucking hand grenades getting thrown at people over here? Well, they can't do anything about that.
And of course, if you have any drugs, you know, you go to jail for years. But, you know, if then you have all the fucking rapes, you know, and they get like social service or something.
Oh yeah, but it's fucking crazy too, because it's like and then you're still bad for being a man. It's like you're bad for being a man. It's like, I don't want to hurt any women. I don't want to do that. I would love to be able to like be pleasant with them or whatever. But it's like the feminists still, it's like it's not enough for them. It's like, no, just for being a man, you're bad. But then they still want to enable all that other shit. It really is crazy, man.
Yeah, and it is really scary because it is very obviously a form of social control.
Yeah.
By the state.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Harsh, and you have some like official stuff, like putting people in jail and so on. But you have the more like non-official stuff of like social exclusion. Like if you say something bad, you will be like completely cast out, basically.
Publicly shamed.
And again, I think the leftists, they think this is like a democratic success, but it's actually the opposite. It's
I agree.
A very undemocratic.
I agree. I agree. That's the scary
practice, and it's again with the police coming and taking my knife. You know, it's really just about control. It's about
because they know if they just used common sense and looked at you, it got nothing to do with fucking race or anything like that. It's just like, okay, guys, here's a guy who's not hurting anyone, and you know that, and he just has this knife to cut some fucking duct tape or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So, and you know that, and so you don't have to like enforce this little no, you can't have a knife. It's like, again, it's just, I think everything's that's going on in Sweden. It's just everyone's so upset about it all, and there's just this like underlying sense of just everyone knows that something is seriously wrong, but yet they have to pretend like it's not.
Yeah, and the problem with this is then you get the counter reaction of like real fascists.
Yeah.
So, you don't want that.
No, not at all.
So it could all be avoided if you were a bit reasonable.
Yeah.
Had some free speech and some democratic discussions.
I agree, man. And we don't want like these dickheads marching around with their fucking far right shit. Like, that's just as stupid. But you got to understand, like, people feel like they have nowhere to turn because just simple common sense is being they call that like it's outraged. It's outrageous for someone to say something just very common sense. They call that racist. That's sexist. That's fucking against women, whatever. So, yeah, man, I'm 100% on board with you with that. I think it's a shame. I think it's unfortunate, and it's super negative, and it's super dark, and like nobody really wants to talk about it because it is so negative, and it is so dark, and it feels like there's no real answer to it. And so I think people are just like, man, whatever. Like, I'm just going to try to live my life the best I can. And it's just like, there's nothing I can really do. Like,
but I agree. Like, I really give up,
Me too.
Like,
yeah.
And really, you can't really change
you can't.
World.
No.
You can really just change yourself, become a better person yourself.
I know. And it's like, it's unfortunate because that's how I think too. And it's when you see how other people don't even attempt to do that. They're
Yeah.
just like, you see that person who's so flawed. They're so flawed, but yet they have no problem just outraging at someone else because they didn't quite use the right word in the right context, and then someone can get like wildly offended by that.
Mm.
And it's hard for someone like you or I to see that. And we're just like, but dude, you're all messed up in your own life. Why are you getting so outraged? So it is, man. I hear you, bro. I 100% hear you with all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think this is like correct in the like deeper spiritual perspective as well. That really there sort of is no external world really, or like the internal world is much stronger. It's much more real.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. And that's the only place to turn because you can, through that, you can start to find some like peace towards things because you can start to see like, well, you know, everyone is gonna have to come to these truths eventually anyway,
Yeah.
and like we all need to get along if we can, not in some like little nice guy way of let's all get along, but it's like no, but we can all fundamentally like try to be understanding to each other and like try to help each other because this surface little reality that we have is really just that. It's just a very surface level experience. And and if people could stop focusing so much on that and start to look into themselves, we wouldn't have this constant like lashing out in these ways, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly just the big ego, sort of like people really don't like being open-minded. They don't like admitting that they are wrong.
That's right.
And you know, when you have, for example, the ayahuasca experience, which we will talk about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It really shows you that you are really just everything is connected. Like really, the self is not really as strong as you think it is. Like really, we are all in this together.
100%, man. 100%. And yeah, with something like that, like with ayahuasca, you absolutely get a sense that we as human beings absolutely must work together. We're all on the same team. We have to work together to ensure the healthy operation of this fucking planet and of our species. And that isn't just a quick, easy little Instagram post. Let's all work together. It's not like that, man. It's not always easy. You don't have to get along with every single fucking person all the time. But from a fundamental place, we have to be trying to do what's right for ourselves and for the people around us. And by doing that, we can all kind of work together in that way. And that is the truth. And it's not as simple as just putting a little pin on your jacket and just it's not that simple.
No. Again, that's commodity fetishes. No. Yeah, it's a very very difficult puzzle to solve. But again, I feel with climate change and the overpopulation, I feel like it's actually beyond a point where it can be fixed in the first place. I think it's just gonna collapse eventually, and that is really scary to think about. But then hopefully we can we can hope that future humans like have learned their lesson after this. Right? I think that's the best we can hope for.
Well, I don't know if I'm quite there, that I feel it's hopeless for the whole planet necessarily.
No, it's not like gonna be apocalypse, but like it's gonna be quite rough. I think the like next decades probably.
It could be. It could be, but there is a lot of good, I think, that can take place. But
yes.
Yeah. So okay, well, why don't we because we brought up the idea about ayahuasca, so why don't we just kind of focus on that for a minute, and then we'll see where that takes us. Yeah. Because and we can come back to this with some of this stuff about what's going on in Sweden and the world and all that and the politically correct, because I'm all on board with you with that, and I think it is important, and I think even for someone like you and I, who I consider myself on the left, like I consider myself to be a pretty like liberal person realistically.
Yeah.
And I really do, and that's why it's so important for me to say, look, guys, at this point in time, I think it is the left that has to acknowledge and admit that what is going on the left is wrong. And I think that's why it's so important, and that's why I feel it's so important to say it, because I do consider myself a liberal person. And I think, like, guys, we are the ones who are wrong right now. It's not some fucking guy with an AR-15 assault rifle in the fucking wood with a hat with an American flag and fucking tactical pants on and shit. Dude, that guy ain't wrong right now. It's us. It's the fucking liberal left who's wrong.
Yeah, I really agree. I mean, I'm kind of in the same position, and like it is also so obvious, with the right, extreme right wing and Trump, like you don't need to even point it out. Like we know this already, like we know that, killing 6 million Jews is wrong. Like it's not a big deal.
Right.
Leftists like to pretend that they don't do anything wrong. That there's nothing wrong with their philosophy, right? And this is really dangerous.
It is dangerous
because really history is just this process between different dualities in a way. So we have left and right wing politics, for example, in Europe, and like really there are good things and bad things about both sides.
Yeah.
If you say that only one side is correct, then you fall into this trap of just following one philosophy. But I think what we have to do actually is look at dualities, polarities that exist, and actually merge them together into a oneness.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
And I think we talked about the sort of primordial aspect of the cross last time, what it actually means, and it's exactly this, that it brings polarities or many things together into oneness.
That's right.
This is actually what the cross means.
Yeah, and that's right, and and then we'll bring it back with the ayahuasca here, but I agree. It's like, look, man, that guy who's on the far right, who needs fucking a whole basement full of AR-15 fucking variants with bump stocks and 10 different kinds of AK-47s and red dot sights. It's like, okay, man, like that's cool, I guess, but it's like perhaps, possibly, some of your time might be better spent like with a little more of a trying to come to a little more of a liberal understanding of things. I'm not saying you can't do that. It's cool if you want, but maybe can we bring it a little more to the center? And it's the same with that dude on the left who's marching in fucking parades all day long and calling every single person racist and sexist and everything. Yeah. It's like, dude, Can we just bring you in? Can you do a couple push-ups for me, bro? Like,
Yeah.
can we maybe show you how to fire a rifle and you can be a little bit of a fucking adult for a moment here? It's like,
Yeah.
can we bring the shit together a little bit, guys? And that's all we're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's why don't we just like kind of give a very brief introduction to what actually the plant medicine known as ayahuasca, like let's just give a very basic introduction as to like what is that? Like what is that in your opinion?
Well, this is a shamanic psychedelic brew. Originates in the Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's made from 2 different plants.
Yeah.
You have the one plant which contains DMT, which is, I would say, the strongest psychedelic.
Yeah.
And then you have another plant which acts as a enzyme inhibitor, because when you ingest DMT orally, normally it would just break down in the stomach, but this inhibitor prevents that from happening. So then your body can actually take up the DMT. And this is traditionally used for healing and sort of religious ceremonies by the Amazon people. And they have been doing this for very long times. But we didn't know this in the West. There was actually a Swiss chemist who thought that he invented DMT. But it's completely natural. It exists in the human body even. So yeah. And I guess ayahuasca has now become quite popular. Even in the West, there's a lot of ayahuasca tourism with Amazon.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is basically what this is. It is a medicine. It is it's these plants, and they brew it, and it's basically just a very dark liquid with a very, very distinct flavor.
Yes.
Yeah, the flavor. And so you
don't like it?
No, I'm not saying that. Not saying that. You've learned to appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's very distinct. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying that. You do learn to appreciate it for its medicinal purposes, and you're like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yes.
You get it's an acquired taste, bro.
Yes.
So look, so this medicine, like, I mean, it should be consumed in a ceremonial context, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, with an experienced shaman, I believe, to lead the ceremony.
Yes.
Because this is a very powerful medicine. And I mean, I guess we can just say what is taking place, as far as I can see, is that by drinking this medicine, it then kind of goes into your body, and you kind of develop a relationship with this spirit. It is kind of the spirit of nature. It is like the personality, the spiritual essence of nature.
Yeah, they usually talk about it as a feminine entity. They talk about Mother Ayahuasca or Mother Earth.
Yeah.
I think my sort of perspective, because I'm a shaman as well.
Yeah.
I make ayahuasca. And,
that's awesome.
I know the different sort of spirits very well. I very much think that the plant has a personality of its own,
Yeah.
and you can also use it to meet other entities.
That's right. That's a good point.
I think especially with DMT, people meet quite many diverse entities.
Yeah, and yeah, that's interesting because the ayahuasca spirit really is its own entity that you
Yeah.
engage with. You develop a relationship with her, and then she sort of gives you access to these other dimensions because she really doesn't seem to be controlling all these other dimensions. She just kind of
No.
gives you access to them.
Yeah, it's sort of like a horse which you ride somewhere, or it's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
okay. Yeah.
plant interdimensional internet which you connect
Yeah.
to basically. And it's actually the same with mushrooms and
Yeah.
mescaline as well.
Yeah.
They have their own little spirit and network and so on. And
Yeah.
they have their own personalities for sure.
Yeah.
They're very different.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's yeah. And so you do develop a relationship with her, and I kind of got this sense that it's almost a defense mechanism. It almost seems to be the planet's defense mechanism to kind of help the humans work through their problems so that they can get in touch with their spiritual self and stop trying to fill their own hole by wrecking the planet and producing so much products. I sort of got that sense.
Yeah, you could certainly see it from that way, because I think that people who have had this experience, they will not go and destroy a bunch of forests and stuff. I think you will really understand the value of this. Like, these are actually really living things,
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah,
basically. Although very, very different. But,
very different. Yeah.
Like it clearly is very intelligent. It's thinking and emotional,
yeah.
and I think in many ways actually more so than we are usually. It's very high level, very intense.
Very intelligent, very real, very alive, very like it really is like a living, breathing sort of sentient kind of organism. And I don't think she's saying like never ever cut down a tree ever.
No.
She's not saying that, but it is like it's just like you wouldn't say like never ever get your hair cut ever. It's like no, it's okay. But you also wouldn't just like randomly go up to someone and fucking start shaving their head.
No. I know there's one tribe who never cut their hair because they believe the spirit is in the hair.
Yeah.
It's just one tribe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but man, it's like so yeah, it's a powerful medicine. It's a very real thing. And I got this sense of like because you can imagine a lot of these like very very rigid kind of like scientists, like fucking by the book type people. It's like it's very very easy for them to dismiss this. Like if you were to say like, hey bro, if you drink this medicine and you sing some songs and y'all get together and have a good intention, you can talk to the spirits and the spirits can show you different realms. It sounds so hippie. It sounds so dumb. Like it's so easy to just be like, oh yeah, man, good luck with that. Like, why don't you go fucking sing a song around a campfire, bro? But man, I am here to tell people. This is 100%, in my personal opinion, it is absolutely a real fucking thing, and I fucking dare. I mean, I almost don't. Like, please don't do this, but I feel sorry for a person who would try to go into something like this and disrespect this medicine and in some way try to force your own fucking beliefs onto this experience, bro. My God. Do not attempt to do that. Perhaps you might be able to get away with one ceremony, maybe, but no, man, this is a real thing.
Yeah, and I think it's like, it's not just that it's real, but it's like more real than this. It's that real. And,
Yeah, it's happening, man.
but the problem is that really the only way to know this is to have the experience
Yes.
yourself. There's no other way to know it. Like, you can't explain it. You can't explicate it.
No.
In any way. And it really shows the big problem with, I think, Western science and academia. You know, because, you know, it was like a few years ago, you know, scientists found out that, okay, trees and grass, you know, they communicate with each other through like signals and through roots, and you know, trees actually help smaller trees to grow through the roots.
Right.
They send nutrients to them and so on.
Right.
And like all the scientists were like, "Whoa, trees talk to each other." Whoa.
Yeah.
But like the shamans have known this for literally 10,000 years.
Yep.
Like it's.
Yep.
And all these like you know, Western scientists think they are so fucking smart, and they have never even seen the whole thing. It's just insane.
It just allows you to see how small of a part we're playing, us little humans, us little monkey creatures.
Yes.
It's like, in, you know, and our
because we are very new here.
We are, and we have this little tiny way to see things that a science experiment in a school and a university and a corporation told me that reality is in this little tiny thin little way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that's acceptable. You can have Pepsi or you can have Coke. You can be a fucking conservative or a liberal.
Yeah.
It's like, and you can be a fucking doctor or a fucking scientist. And what you see with these experiences, with developing a relationship with this type of medicines, is it just, you see that in fact reality is way, way, way wider of an experience, bro. And there's a lot going on, and a lot of it is beyond what you're going to be able to comprehend in your little fucking century-long little monkey life. And so you better fucking behave accordingly, bro. Because if you act up, dude, like your whole fucking species could get extinguished pretty easily, and no one would care. It's like, no, the planet is not going to care.
Yeah, I mean, like well, as you said, you can't really describe this with like one single theory. The experience is very personal.
Yeah.
Very, very personal.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is like the divine space, essentially, which, you know, it's very obvious that all religions are founded on this experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You will just have to look at like a mosque or like a Indian temple or something.
Oh yeah.
Just
all
look
those
at
roofs,
how they look.
Like those domes and the.
Yes.
And, oh
yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. Clearly.
Like it is this space, obviously.
Yeah.
But the problem then with religions is that you know, almost none of the people have this experience.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
They only see like the temple, but they don't know what that even is. Like, they don't understand it at all, because you have to experience it. You can't read from the Bible. You can't go to a mosque and just look at it. Like, you have to actually experience this yourself.
That's
That's
right.
the only way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. Because you really can't put it into words. Like it's like explaining the color green to someone.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you do? It's like, well, it's kind of like blue, but a little more like yellow. It's like, yeah, but what is it though, man? It's like, well, it's green. It's like it's so hard to describe, and
And this is our. It's like using our so-called third eye, basically.
that's right. Yeah.
So, and most people don't use this really. Like only when they dream, maybe, but they don't really know what it is. So it really is this sixth sense.
Yeah.
And people don't even know about it. They don't know that they have this sense.
Yeah.
And so it really is like explaining color to a blind man.
Yeah.
This is like seeing or hearing for the first time.
Yeah.
This is completely new sense.
Yeah, and you like can't even conceive that that's possible, and
yeah.
Like you just get access to such a wide range of experience. Things like telepathy,
Yeah.
and kind of and seeing into other people's thoughts and experiences. It just kind of becomes something that you just accept as like, okay, yeah, like does seem to be possible. Like, I don't know, like I wouldn't want to try to like control that and try to use that as some kind of fucking tool in life or whatever, but you just get this sense of like, oh, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Well, the shamanic healers, they sort of do manipulate that to a certain degree.
Right.
But they do it with good intentions.
That's right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like a song, for example, the shamanic song, it's like, vibration,
Yeah.
A certain intention,
Yeah.
or something like so. So you do manipulate it to a certain degree.
That's true. That's right. And that's part of it. We should actually also add that singing and songs are a huge part of this medicine as well.
And yeah, I really like dancing as well.
Okay, yeah, I didn't do that.
I'm doing like Tai Chi or something.
Interesting.
It's really profound because you really feel the energy.
Yeah.
You see
Yep.
the energy field, sort of all of this, so you really understand what it is.
I believe that. And these songs are very much kind of I got a sense of like they're kind of dancing. The songs are kind of dancing, and ayahuasca as well for me was dancing. She came in dancing.
Yeah, I think ayahuasca is this sort of dancing South American feminine.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty fun.
She's dancing, bro. She was coming and dancing, and I was fucking like, man, I was laughing. I was like, I couldn't believe what she was doing. Like, and the songs kind of entice her in. She likes the songs.
Yes, she does.
It's
very fun.
Fucking hell, bro. And this, yeah.
But very different from the mushroom.
Oh yeah.
Mescaline spirit. They are super different.
Way different. The mushrooms are way more like these little elves, these little like worker elves or something.
Yes, and they are not so nice.
No, they're like
quite rough.
They're like dickheads sometimes. You're like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? You're fucking mushrooms? Because that's a mushroom. A mushroom's weird, bro. Mushrooms are fucking weird. And you're just like, holy, because you just get this weird experience. Whereas Mother Ayahuasca, Mother Nature, is way more profound, and it's way more divine, and it's way more of a connection to the fucking actual, like, God or like afterlife and everything. Whereas the mushrooms, not so much. You kind of get the feeling it's like Mother Ayahuasca's like little fucking brother or something.
If you take enough mushrooms,
true,
same thing.
True, yeah, that's true. I actually haven't had that like exact level of experience, but I think you're right. I believe that you're right. It definitely is possible, I'd say.
I just took 8 grams
of
cubensis mushrooms, and with the lemon technique, you put it in lemon juice, so it makes it much stronger.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
You grind the mushrooms, mix with lemon juice. You press a lemon there, and you let it like sit for 15 minutes. Stir it a bit, then you drink it.
Oh, interesting.
It's much stronger. You can have the same breakthrough.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, yeah, I believe that. I've come kind of close with the mushrooms, but never quite. Just with yeah.
But I think the big thing is that again, DMT is
Right.
What we are naturally attuned to.
Yeah.
The other compounds like LSD, psilocybin, and mescaline, they do work. They do bind to the serotonin receptors in the same way, but it is not quite the same thing as the natural DMT.
Yeah, because when you're really just consuming that DMT just through a smoking it or whatever, I've not done that, but from what I understand, you're really just getting catapulted right through to that fucking next dimension with the pillars, with the faces, and the all of it.
Yeah, you should try smoking it.
That might be something.
But I don't like it so much. I think ayahuasca is just a much more.
You feel like you kind of earn it to a degree. Like when I got, during my experience, I had like a couple of hours of kind of visions and working through stuff. And then right at the end, after I had done all this work, she was like, all right, man, you did a lot of work. Come on, let's go. I want to show you something. And she took me through and it was just. And I saw, the artist. Did I already ask you about Alex Gray?
Yes.
You know Alex Gray, okay.
Yeah.
You know those pictures where he has those giant heads and they're just like shimmering heads and stuff? Bro, I was lit right up into that, fucking floating through there with me and ayahuasca sitting on a fucking magic carpet, just like, and there it was, man. It's unbelievable. Like, that, from what I can see, that's not ayahuasca's realm, I don't think. But she has access to that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that seems to be like the afterlife. I almost got this sense of like we as human beings are building that with our consciousness development. We're kind of building this fucking realm with these heads with bedazzled jewels. It's fucking crazy.
Yes, well, generally, I understand that we are sort of slowly evolving into this higher realm.
Uh-huh.
But I think with the heads, the sort of pillars, which Alex Gray also made a painting about. It's called the Net of Being, his painting. But I think that really shows us, so it's a way for the plant to show us our existence, basically. So, as I understand it, the bottom of the pillar is the beginning of the universe, and the top is the end. So we are straight in the middle, and we are those heads. So our conscious experience is exactly there in the middle. So we are actually these nodes. We are these pillars that actually. We are not in the universe, but we are. We are creating it. We are we are space and time. Because
right.
Space and time, as we think it doesn't really exist.
Right.
Objectively.
Yeah.
But we are sort of eyes of the universe, of God, that see reality in this way. We are like a pair of glasses.
Right.
That perceive time and space in this way. So we are sort of creating 3D space and this specific flow of time.
Yeah.
And that's our role, is to be this node in this huge network.
Yeah.
And it shows us this through this symbolic imagery.
And that kind of is just all of us there as these pillars, and we're kind of radiating reality. Man, and we've kind of gotten carried away here in this like 3-dimensional world. Like we've gotten carried away, I guess.
Yes, very much. I mean, so there's this thing called the law of one. It's a sort of spiritual theory. It's attributed to the god Ra. It's the Egyptian god. But in this theory they talk about 7 different densities, but these could be dimensions or whatever you want to call it. So first, the lowest dimension would be matter. It would be the elements, atoms, and so on. Then it goes to like bacteria, plants, animals. This is second density. Then third density would be us, humans, our experience. And then fourth density would be like spirits and ghosts and demigods and such.
Yeah. Then
fifth, sixth would be like just higher beings.
Right.
And presumably you could like ascend there, like if you're like the Buddha or something.
Right.
And then the sort of last seventh density would just be this unity with God, which is like nirvana or something.
Right.
But then there's the theory that, you know, we actually came, like, we are these sort of eternal beings. But we like go through these different densities to learn, to evolve.
Right, yeah.
So we maybe already were,
you
know, ascended, but we came here for some reason.
Right.
Either to sort of solve negative karma in this place of the universe, maybe to build this place of the universe, or just to learn. Like this is like a school. This is like spiritual kindergarten. Because the third density, the line between the third and fourth density, it's called a veil of forgetfulness.
Right.
And I guess this is also the veil of Maya. Veil of illusion. So it means that if you come from the higher realms to the third density as a human, you forget all this. And that's sort of part of the experience. It's just part of the test. Because otherwise it wouldn't really work.
Right.
Yeah. And then some theorize that these people like Buddha and Jesus and so on, they were like they came from the higher realms and they somehow like remembered or something. But yeah, I think that is sort of the most correct theory, but it can always be discussed. For sure. Especially the details.
Yeah. No.
And I think this puts you in it lets you look at least into the higher densities.
Yeah, and it kind of does seem like we're kind of working our way up through this realm, and it's almost like we've come back down for another ride. It's like after a while, it's like you take that roller coaster and you're like, I'm never going on that again, man. But then after a while, you're like, fuck it. Let's go on again, go for another ride. And that's almost like what we've kind of done to some degree, but I think there's some greater purpose for it as well.
Yes, I guess the idea is that in this realm, you know, it's limited because like our higher selves, which you call it, you know, you live in this like sort of perfect energy world where you can just do anything you want. But then it's sort of too easy. So this is a very limited experience. And when you sort of combine it with forgetting all of this, our past lives or whatever, it sort of gives, it tests you, like it really tests you in a authentic way, like what you really are.
Yeah, it's like there's this, do you know Alan Watts?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Alan Watts.
Yes, it's good.
There's a really great, he had a clip where he talked about, you know, imagine tonight when you went to sleep, you could dream 100 years. And in those 100 years, you could do whatever you want to do. You could be a millionaire. You could have adventures and love affairs. You could see paintings and sculptures in all the countries and everything. And now he said every night you dreamed 100 years and you did that for your whole life. So towards the end of your life, he'd say you'd have experienced every different kind of adventure and life and being a millionaire, every different kind of women, all kind of different architecture, everything. And he said towards the end, you might start to get a little bit bored. And at this point, you then might say, hey, you know what? Let's actually have a dream tonight where I don't know what's going to happen, where I forget that I'm dreaming, and make it a little more exciting. He said, now imagine if that's actually what you're doing right now.
I think so. It's sort of the same idea. And yeah, like it could be like with a video game, like a really good video game, you want to be immersed in it.
Yeah.
You don't want really to know that you're playing a video game. You want to sort of forget the external, or you want to forget that you are playing a video game. You want it to be immersive. So when you sort of break that illusion, you maybe ruin it a little bit.
That's right.
In a way.
Like, it's okay, man. It's just a game. It's just a game. It's like, dude, no, it's fucking real, man. Like, you want to feel like it's real, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel, I don't know if you have smoked salvia.
No, I haven't.
You should. That's really the only thing which really rivals the DMT experience.
Really? What is that like, salvia? I've heard of it.
Well, so you need a really strong extract, like 80x extract or something, 100x extract. And you should just smoke that until you get the real breakthrough.
Huh.
And again, it's, I think the video game metaphor is very appropriate. It seems like the sort of Easter egg. In video games, there's like hidden crazy things in video games. Or like when you go outside the map in Super Mario or something like that. Salvia is sort of like that. It's this sort of hidden Easter egg.
Really? It's like you're seeing behind the door, kind of. You're like, what's going on behind the stage here?
Yes, it is that.
Is there anything going on back there?
Backstage.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, you see inside the computer, inside the video game code.
Like, right. Holy fuck.
It's sort of like the Matrix. Like it's literally that.
Jesus. And is it beneficial? Like, do you bring anything back like you would from an ayahuasca experience?
I think salvia is just like, it's just a cosmic joke.
Oh, okay,
It's the jester aspect of God. Because you have to understand, like, the universe, God has all these different personalities.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them are stronger than other. And of course, we are also part of this. We are also personalities of God. The sort of strongest personalities are sort of all-wise man, the mother, which is Ayahuasca. Then you have the wizard, you have the warrior, you have the jester, the trickster, the fool. This is also a very, very strong archetype personality.
Yeah.
And I think salvia is that one. It's like, just you get mind fucked.
Yeah, it's just like for the sake of looking behind the fucking curtains, it's just there for the sake of being there. It's like, no, you can look back here and see the gears. It's like, if you really want to, like, okay. But yeah, because again, I like that it's there though. It's like, no, bro, nothing's off limits. You can look if you want to.
Yeah, I've really been thinking about this. Like if it actually ruins what we're supposed to do here.
See, I don't think it does, because I don't think there's anything that ruins anything, because it's like it was like that, for example, with with martial arts, and it's like when people first started doing mixed martial arts, there were like karate guys who were like, you're ruining karate. Karate's supposed to be this move and that move, and you're ruining it with your stupid kickboxing. It's like, that's bad. It's like, but if it was real, it would have fucking stood up the challenge. And that's kind of what I think with these other things. It's like, no, something like DMT, it's real. You can do it if you want. You're allowed. And it's just like you're allowed to smoke meth. You can do coke if you want. No one can stop you. But what stands up after all that? It's like there is still a like natural kind of alignment which is more powerful and more important than all those things. It's like, do you think someone sitting there smoking DMT and then it's like, okay, man, cool, but what now? You still have to live your life every day in a way that's in accordance with a natural law. And that's what I think. It's like, I don't want to try to limit things like, no, DMT's bad and it's not supposed to be that way. It's there. It's there. It's not. There's nothing that's not. There's nothing that's there that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I agree that like everything exists for a reason, for sure.
Yep.
But like I just wonder, like, is this actually the forbidden fruit?
I don't think it is, because it's like, do you know who Tim Ferriss is?
No.
Okay, he wrote a book called The 4-Hour Work Week.
Oh.
And he did the 4-Hour Body, and he's really big in kind of the tech, kind of biohacking sort of area. He does a podcast. He's really good, actually. He's a cool guy. But he talks about how there's no biological free lunch. So he says, you don't get anything for free.
Yeah.
It's like everything has a trade-off. There's no just like magic pill that you get away with everything. It's like,
yeah, of course.
People think that about like Adderall. You know what Adderall is?
Yes.
It's like people think, oh, just pop Adderall. I feel better. I feel smarter. I'm on top of everything. There's no downside. There is a downside. There must be. There's a downside and an upside to everything. There's no biological free fucking lunch, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean it's the thermodynamics, right? Yeah. It's that nothing can really be created or destroyed. Like it can only be exchanged. This is alchemy as well. You can only exchange something for something different, because you can't actually gain or lose anything really. It's always a trade-off with everything.
Because you still have to like. So you smoke DMT and you have this magical experience. It's like, okay, but then you still have to like go outside down to Starbucks and buy a coffee. And it's like you still have to like manage to engage with that employee at Starbucks after you just had this crazy experience.
Yeah.
And if you go in there and start being like, oh, hey, did you know there's like giant domes and jumping figures and everything? It's like part of the payoff, part of the like bounce to that is, yeah, but you have to integrate that back into your everyday life, bro.
Yeah, and I guess it's the notion of ignorance is bliss, right? The more you know, you sort of...
yeah, that's a good point.
You have more responsibility, sort of. You have more weight. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, to get to know from this space. There's a lot of information, and I guess it can kind of be too much. I guess for many people, and I think like most people are really not ready for this.
Yeah.
In a way, I think like if you take your average like Starbucks employee, like they just work there and they watch some TV or something, and they don't really think about anything, they would have this experience, I don't know.
That's also why I think it is there as well, because it's like this shortcut for people to get immediately out of their little tiny lives and see, dude, there's a lot more going on. And, it's like, sometimes I don't think people realize how them just going about their little everyday lives thinking that what they're doing is okay. It's like there's some guy that works at like Boeing or like, one of those aircraft manufacturers, and he's just there working away on his little guided missiles. He's like, well, I go to work every day and I make fucking, $100,000 a year, and I just screw a few fucking components into this guided missile, and everything's good in the world. And I go home and I drive my fucking, I
Yeah.
drive my brand new Audi home, and I've got a 4-bedroom house and a boat, and things are pretty good. But wouldn't it be a surprise to him if all of a sudden he got um, watched the videotape of that guided missile flying right into a fucking villager's bedroom, blowing the thing up with the whole family? See, sometimes people don't realize what's normal and just an everyday good fucking life for them. There's always a balance to it, bro.
Mm.
And it's like sometimes people forget what they're even doing. Dude, you're building guided missiles. You know that?
Yeah. But I guess also like you need some people that do that kind of stuff, and you can't have everyone be a monk or something. Like that's not gonna work.
True.
And I just feel like maybe many people would sort of leave their job. Maybe if they had this experience, I don't know.
Maybe could
maybe that's why the government's
yeah
afraid of this.
Yeah, like what would happen if everyone was a monk though?
I think, and modern society is completely fucked anyway. Like we're destroying the planet and everything. So
yeah, so like would it be so bad? Like I don't know. It's just I'm just saying shit. Like I don't know, but yeah, it's like I remember someone was saying like before the First World War, it was like someone was saying like the only thing we could do to stop this war is to not do anything because whatever we do is going to keep this war going. It's like so it's weird. It's sometimes in our society, it's like the only people are like, well, we don't know what to do. We should pass legislation. It's like the only thing we can do is just stop everything, but it's hard to do that. But yeah, yeah.
It's interesting if we return to the law of one again. This theory it suggests that there are actually sort of two different ways of spiritual ascension, and there's positive polarity and negative polarity. And basically, positive polarity would be expression of love. And apparently, you need to have 51% positive polarity. You need to be on that side. 51% to sort of ascend within the positive polarity network or whatever you want to call it. But then there's negative polarity, which would be sort of the opposite of that. And for that, you actually need 95% negative polarity to ascend. And I guess if you have negative polarity, but you don't have enough to ascend, then you sort of just become reincarnated. Yeah.
So do you mean you have to be like 95% negative and then you ascend?
Yes, and I guess
interesting.
I guess this is what sort of angels and demons are actually.
Interesting.
So you can actually become a demon.
If you're evil enough, you can just get up there anyway.
Because then the universe thinks that you are so unique that you need to be preserved.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you're actually valuable.
That's interesting. Yes, I could see that. It's like, yeah, I could see that. Like someone who's just such a like Scarface, or like Bonnie and Clyde, or someone who's just an absolute gangster. It's like, well, he was different.
And this is actually it's Christ, Antichrist, duality here again. Actually, if you look at the Christ fish, the ictus, the symbol,
Yeah.
You just turn it 90 degrees. You get the devil with the horns.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
You can see it. So they're actually just two sides of the same coin.
Huh.
So there is this sort of necessary evil. There is this sort of negative polarity which tests the positive polarity. It's sort of the inspector, or it's the thing that keeps the positive polarity in check, to sort of help them in a way.
Yeah.
And I read quite a lot about this in Greek mythology, in astrology. This would be Saturn. We had a planet Saturn, but it's also a god. And it's known as the Great Malefic. This sort of Satan, it's the Antichrist. So it's the negative polarity.
Huh.
And I can really see this expressed in certain cultures. And I think Germany, for sure, is the number one sort of Saturnian country. I really see this, that they are the sort of Antichrist
because
in the world.
Yeah, they do sort of have this like fundamental kind of like belief of like militarism, and like no, like it is about that. It is about like taking over shit, and like that did seem to be their kind of like fundamental belief system.
Yeah, and Scandinavians are Germanic as well, the Vikings,
For sure.
And, but that's a spiritual path, being a Viking, a berserker, it's a shamanic warrior thing. So it is a legitimate spiritual path, but it's
agree with that.
Polarity.
I agree with that, because it is this kind of like, there's a part of it that I like, that I'm like, okay, good. Like I'm gonna jump off this longboat with a battle axe, and hey man, if today's my day, I'm gonna meet it like a warrior. And I can relate. I think there's something cool about that in a way.
Yeah, and it's same thing in the animal kingdom, in the second density, if we want to talk about this system. So then you have predators, or the negative polarity, but they keep the other animals in check, because if you have a world where everyone is a little sheep who just lives there in the sunshine all the time, it's boring. It's just pointless. So you need to have the wolf to kind of come in and make a little chaos to sort of test the sheep, to test their strength and morality, stuff like this. And the predators, they are also, they are noble, they are beautiful, they are strong, So they are not necessarily evil just because they kill.
That's right. That's right. No, that's very true, and that's even bring it all the way back to what we were saying at the beginning with the like politically correct society and stuff. It's like,
yes,
they see that as like, that's why I'm always making fun of them, because they're like, they think a lion is mean.
Yeah.
Like if it was up to them, they'd make a little safe space for all the fucking gazelles. Yeah. Don't you eat that gazelle, you mean lion.
Yeah.
Don't you dare be so mean, eating a gazelle. That pretty gazelle just wants to jump around and fucking frolic around, and you come over with your big fucking mane and your mean teeth. And it's like, yeah, but that's nature.
Yeah. And yeah, like you don't want too much of the negative polarity, of course, but you want a balance really between the two things. And again, I see Germany again is big with the engineering, So a lot of technology and engineering comes from this sort of negative polarity force as well, and sort of the world wars also forced this expansion of technology. So,
Oh,
so you
yeah.
can kind of see this as a unfoldment of just
yeah.
history of expansion.
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
Increased
Yeah.
cognition and everything.
And it was like perfectly fucking reasonable. Perfectly reasonable at that time for, like, in the First War especially, for the German Empire. To them, it was perfectly reasonable to just think, well, of course we're just going to expand the empire. Of course we want some African colonies. Yeah, of course we're going to try to expand east even more. And it just was so matter of fact to them. It was like a part of their DNA as like an entire culture. And that was part of their entire mindset. So it even made sense into the Second War in a lot of ways for them to carry on. They're like, well, of course we're gonna fucking expand east and take over this territory. Like, just makes sense.
Yeah, and it has this function of sort of exposing weakness and
Yeah.
hypocrisy in the sort of good side as well.
Yeah.
So I think Germany, as a Christian country, sort of exposes sort of moral bankruptcy in
It's
the church as well.
interesting, man.
Because the Vatican also collaborated with the Nazis.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, and yeah, man, it's like,
the whole thing sort of showed the, moral weaknesses in the other so-called good countries.
True.
Like the US,
Yep.
and Soviet Union, and so on.
Yep.
So it is this sort of devil that comes through to sort of test everyone, to sort of make this big test for everyone. And this really is Saturn.
Interesting.
And the god, the German god is of course Odin as well. It's Woden. It is the horn god. He has horns as well. And the Vikings are always artistically depicted with horns. This is of course historically incorrect.
Right.
They did not wear horns,
right.
But I think it actually is sort of spiritually
correct. Interesting.
Because it is the negative polarity. It's the Saturnian, satanic path.
That's really cool. That's interesting because even when you look at everything to do with kind of the Germans, especially during the wars, they all were like their uniforms were like dark and menacing. Their fucking helmets, the weapons, like everything about it was this kind of like this like empire of death. Like it was crazy. The Nuremberg rallies with all them stormtroopers were lined up, and it was just like today Germany, tomorrow the world.
It's the Star Wars is just a way of our collective consciousness to express this. It's the Sith side, right?
Yeah.
But you need to have this two sides sort of to make the story happen.
Yeah. No, and like the Nazi Empire especially was like the like absolute pinnacle of that kind of like, we are just gonna take over as much territory as possible, and we are gonna just exterminate anyone in our path, and there is no one going to stop us. And it just was the absolute pinnacle of that type of thinking.
Yeah, and it sort of is Odin as a god coming through. It is a horned god which demands human sacrifice, basically.
Interesting.
It sort of is the devil in many ways, but it is very interesting with Odin because I know this god very well, actually. Because there are, I mean, in the end, everything is just the one god, Brahman, Allah, whatever. But there are these sort of demigods, there are these Ashuras. The Hindus talk about Ashuras, and in the Law of One, they actually talk about I think social information complexes. So there are sort of information complexes that are distinct from other information systems, and you can meet these systems, you can perceive these systems.
Interesting.
And you perceive them as living beings, right? So these are the gods, these are the entities.
Interesting. So they kind of like form themselves around these information systems, and it kind of like portrays a god. It like epitomizes the god, a certain kind of god almost.
Yes, like they are distinct.
Interesting.
Information systems of their own, yes.
And the god of Odin is kind of epitomized around these sort of like Nordic kind of Germanic behaviors, and Odin kind of manifests himself around those and like encourages it along or some shit.
Yes, and you really see this, and it's very interesting with Odin, very interesting god, because you know, he was it seems that he was a real human being. He was a shaman a long time ago. And this is the same thing with Tengri in Mongolia. Tengri was also a famous shaman who sort of ascended to be a god and is still worshipped today. But sort of Odin was the sort of crazy shaman who sort of used kind of deconstructed sexuality in many ways, because sort of when you want to ascend, like you want to become a fucking god, you know, you have to go completely beyond anything that could sort of tie you to the earth, to the human realm. So it seemed that Odin was capable of shape-shifting, not just into like different animals, but also like change his gender or something. And there was this text which described that he would like dig up corpses, like suck up whatever little semen was left in the corpses for some like magic ritual energy and stuff like this. So just to completely deconstruct sexuality in every way possible. And this is actually like the real Odin.
Really?
And it's very hilarious when you have some sort of Nazis, for example, worshipping him. They're very funny.
Yeah.
But you see, again, with the Nazi costumes, you have this sort of black leather.
Yeah.
And you know, nowadays it's sort of a gay thing. You know. So again, it sort of deconstructs this whole thing. It sort of is a very masculine thing. It sort of celebrates and sort of portrays the masculine force in the sort of biggest way possible, but it also deconstructs it at the same time. And it's very interesting actually when you see this.
It's weird too, like, because even with the whole, like, especially the Nazi empire, the Nazi era, like, man, like, it was such a weird relationship, like, even with like sexuality and stuff. Like, Hitler had such a hate on for, like, he was trying to round up the gay people back then even. But then also, like, his own relationship with that was super juvenile. Like, he didn't really understand women at all. And then he had, like, all kinds of, like, crazy, like, breeding programs where they had these, like, SS retreats where he was, like, they were, like, breeding to create these new fucking generation of warriors and stuff. And, like,
the Nazis had a bunch of really wild, crazy things they tried to do. They tried to like make some I don't know, like 50-meter long tanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or something like
oh
that.
yeah.
super crazy stuff. It's
Yeah.
no, but it's really, Hitler was just a complete idiot.
In many
of
ways,
course,
he really was. Yeah,
and,
in a lot of ways, bro.
he was just this failed artist who became
Yeah.
like really angry at everyone.
Did you ever? I'm not sure if I mentioned this before. The book called "The War of Art." It's by
No.
it's by Stephen Pressfield. It's a really good book. It's just about how to create your art and that it's like work that you have to do. Joe Rogan used to have a stack of these books and he would hand them out to people. And Stephen Pressfield talks about how like if you have an artistic project, whether it's like a painting or writing or whatever it is or dancing, that's like work that you have to put in, and you have to be a pro, and you have to sit down, whatever it is, a couple times a week for an hour and get to work. And he said people will come up with all kinds of excuses to avoid doing the work, right? They'll even get fucking married and start a family and who knows what all they'll do to avoid. It's like, bro, no, you were supposed to sit down and write for an hour for that book. So he says how Hitler, he talks about how it was easier for Hitler to take over all of Europe than it was for him just to sit down and become a better painter.
Yeah. No, that's true. But
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know. Again, with Germany, you have the sort of BDSM.
Yeah, that too.
Fetish and the black leather.
Yeah, that too.
Scat fetish.
That
really
too.
Typically German.
That too, because it's like I think it's hard for them also to come to grips with like the past and all that like horrible shit that happened, and like how do they bring like sexuality into that? Yeah. And that's where you get all this crazy shit with the tying up and the leather and that fucking heavy metal craziness.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, but this is Odin. This is Odin.
Interesting.
Because it's Odin's land, Germany, Scandinavia. This is it, basically.
Right.
So it is sort of that spiritual path in this really weird, fucked up way.
Really?
It is, because it sort of deconstructs things. It makes people more open-minded, and you can actually use sort of this open-mindedness and this weird sexuality as a sort of spiritual, in a spiritual way, I think. But it is very, very interesting when you really come into contact with this god and you realize this stuff. It's very wild.
Yeah.
And heavy metal again is very much Odin, the sort of Scandinavian heavy metal, again with black leather.
Yeah.
And there is this sort of thin line between the, what is like super manly and what is super gay. And that's kind of the thing. It's this sort of joke almost that is being made.
Yeah. No, and that's it, man. And like maybe that's too why now in like Scandinavia and Germany and everything, you're now getting this like hyper like feminism and hyper like kind of like belittling of men in a way, and the guys don't know how to express themselves in like a masculine way because the masculine way was Vikings and the fucking warfare. So they're like, well, that wasn't good. What is it? It's like, well, just shut up and go work at fucking BMW. Okay. And it's like weird, I don't know what's going on there, but.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Maybe. I mean, the whole thing was kind of ruined by Christianity a long time ago.
That
I think
too,
really,
man.
I think all problems almost in Europe can be traced back to Christianity, because it's really where all this weakness comes from. But
yeah, I don't know like what the fuck how Christianity affected it, but I definitely agree with you. The liberal like hyper like weakness like fucking every guy gets shamed for everything. It's like, I think we can both agree, like, you know, it's not a good thing, like, for
No.
anyone. It's
Mm.
not a good thing for anyone. It sure as fuck isn't good for women. In fact, I made a video called "How Feminism is Bad for Women." It got a lot of views. People were into it. Um, it's fucking true. It's like, that is good for no one. Fucking, a weak dude who's fucking getting shamed all day long for being a man, that's not good for a woman. That doesn't benefit her at all. Like, what's the one thing that she desperately needs in her life? A cool guy. Number one. A cool fucking guy that wants to spend time with her and do shit with her. A cool
Mm.
guy. Okay? That's what would help her out in life. Not some fucking safe space, not some fucking magazine cover with Woman of the Year. Yeah, not some fucking chode politician marching around saying how you deserve everything. I'm going to give you everything. That's all weak. That's all weak guys. That's all weak
Yeah.
fucking beta chodes who are pushing all that shit. It's not helping any women at all. What that woman wants is a cool, strong guy who's willing to hang out with her.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what she wants. Are you fucking on meth? That's what she wants. And anything that's not producing that ain't helping her out at all. And all this politically correct shit, it's fucking marched around by weak ass motherfucking dudes. Because they don't want to be a cool guy because they can't. Because they're too fucking dumb and they'd rather march around saying everyone's equal, women are equal. It's like, bro, she ain't fucking equal. Her life's a lot fucking different than yours, bro. Her life's a lot different. She gotta have a
Yeah.
baby. She puts fucking makeup on her face, bro. She ain't the same as you. Let's stop trying to make her that way.
Mm. Yeah, I wonder if this sort of deconstruction of the male and so on, I wonder if this is actually like Odin that is sabotaging sort of Christian society or something to sort of bring back stuff in some other way. I don't know, but
Maybe.
It would be a very Odin thing. He's very like tricky. So it's very fun when you understand these things. But yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. Wow.
But have you met any like other
Like
entities, like some god?
Well, I definitely met the ayahuasca spirit for sure.
Yes.
No question about that. I met her. We went on multiple dates. We were hanging out. There was a little bit of intimate encounter as well, although I wasn't sure how deep to go into that because I wouldn't want to get caught up in some crazy love affair with a spirit. Because I heard stories about shaman bros carrying on multiple love affairs, mistresses. Have you heard about this?
Yes, well, I did it once with a spirit for sure.
Nice.
It wasn't meant to happen, but you know.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a thing.
It's a thing, man. Yeah, there's no question about it. And they operate they operate just like regular women too. It's like nothing's for free. You got to take them on a date. You got to entertain them. Nothing's for free. It's completely like a real, actual woman, female, human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't want to. I heard people having kids and shit in the alternate dimensions. I didn't want to fuck with any of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I have I might have some surprise kids.
Fuck out of there. I was like, girl, I gotta get going. I got shit to do. I can't be starting families over here. And she was like, let's start a family. Like, what the fuck? I don't know how to be doing this shit over here. Come on now.
But the thing is that, you know, like reproducing here in the third density is very it's not very effective, you know. Like your genes are very randomized, your offspring. And, you know, you have millions of sperm, right, which all have their different DNA. And, you know, it's completely randomized. So it's really not effective at all. And again, I guess in a way you also are your children. That's how you live on. But then it means that you live on in the third density.
Oh, true. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But
But
I think I don't want to live on here. I want to go
right.
up there.
I don't know if the best way to do it is to be like impregnating some spiritual fucking.
No, I don't think so.
So anyway, I tried to.
I think the way people do this is just to live on in
Yeah.
culture,
Yeah.
actually, in people's minds,
Yeah.
like how we remember
Uh,
certain people, like Plato or something,
yeah.
and statues of people,
I like
and
statues.
sort of people who weave themselves into art. You create some really unique art that lives on. So
And then like producing your consciousness up, I think helped you to move into the next
yes,
dimension
yes.
too. But so
I think that's sort of how people really do it.
yeah, rather than just banging a bunch of spiritual women, yeah. But so I definitely met that spiritual creature for sure.
Yes.
During some of my mushroom experience, I did meet, I think briefly, some of those sort of helper kind of elves. I definitely had some experience with them where they're just like, yeah, man, come over this way, bro. We're gonna show you this. We're gonna show you that. So I had some experience with them. I briefly had experience with what I think was a pretty high up god during some of those mushroom experiences where he just briefly was like, "Hey man, like he gave me some advice." Like he was like,
Yeah.
"Hey bro." So that was interesting and I only got a brief sort of visit with him, but I was taken to him by these sort of helper elf guys. And it was almost like I was going to the dentist. And they were like showing me through the waiting room and they're like, "All right, man, we're going to take you in to see this guy now. You ready? Okay, here he is." And then he looked down on me and was like, "All right, what you got going on here, man? Let's yank this fucking tooth out." And hammered some shit into me.
Yes, yes. Because it's very difficult to navigate
Yeah.
the spirit realm because it's really so much bigger and more complex than I think our physical
Yeah.
reality. So it's really good to have spirit guides.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty popular concept of spirit guides.
Yeah.
And there's spirit animals as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have one, and this is really a staple in, I think, all shamanic cultures. In Norse shamanism, you talk about the fylgja. It's the spirit animal.
Huh.
And I actually met my spirit animal the first time I smoked DMT.
Oh shit!
I met a turtle, and it was like completely black and white turtle. It was sort of creating the whole universe from its shell.
Interesting.
It was sort of and a sort of flower of life pattern. This pattern. It was creating everything from this pattern, like this, and then it sort of stuck with me as my spirit animal. And, it really sort of helps you in subtle ways when you go into these higher realms, and even in lucid dreams, it can appear to help you. And it's really essential, I think, because it's really difficult to get to certain gods. And of course, for many gods, you have to actually make a proper ritual. You have to make an offering, or you have to chant something.
Yeah, I could see that.
To meet the god.
Yeah, no.
And this is no magic.
No, it's real shit.
This is what magic is. It is real, but it is this thing, and it's not Harry Potter or something where you're shooting lightning or something. No. Because it's not physical. It's not material. It's completely mental. It's psychological. Completely.
That's interesting, man. There's so much going on out there, man.
It is magic, and there is very advanced magic practice. There's a lot to go into if you really want. And you can make really complicated rituals, and of course religions are a tenth of this on a sort of mass scale.
Yeah, they're like diluted it down so you like barely get a little sliver of a connection to God, and you have to do all kinds of fucking ritual bullshit. And you get a little sliver of like, oh, well, I guess I feel a little better.
Yeah, I think most religions have really lost their magic practice.
Oh yeah. And now it's crazy because it's coming back now with the psychedelic plant medicine and this type of like this brand new kind of approach to shit. And it's like people are getting together like crazy, like on podcasts and YouTube, and every people are getting this new approach to thing, and it's coming from this totally different direction of like fucking like MMA fighters and like bodybuilders and like all types of different people are getting involved in this, and they're just like, man, I don't need some scientist to tell me what reality is. I don't need some fucking religion to tell me what reality is. Like, I want to find out for myself. And it's like now all these people are coming together with the internet, and we're trying to use the internet for more than just gossiping about people and fucking, you know what I mean, like taking a fucking picture of ourselves at the gym in our fucking gym shorts or something. Like, we're trying to use it for something useful and being like, okay, guys, can we try to do something productive now and like work together so we don't have to just be some fucking, you know, retarded pictures of, you know what I mean, my newest Lamborghini or something. Like,
yeah, and the internet is really amazing, and you know, there's this pretty famous quote. I don't remember who it was who said it, but that the internet is just as natural as a spider's web.
Interesting.
That is really just a part of the natural process of you know, integration and expansion of consciousness and so on.
Interesting.
And I really do believe that, actually. I think it is completely natural. And it is science is a spiritual path, you see. Technology, this is just one spiritual path, because it helps us all become more spiritual. You see, through the internet, for example. But I think most, or really all scientists, they don't know this. They don't know that they are on the spiritual path.
And
but they are.
I've even heard that some of those kind of like machine elements in that kind of like spiritual realm, because there are some like machine elements that sort of be there. Perhaps
the machine elves,
even that, it's like perhaps they could be like a spiritual element of physical machines. You know, because we use machines for so much and technology is so a part of our lives. Who knows? Perhaps there is a spiritual element, a spiritual kind of entity that is kind of responsible for running those machines. Who knows, man?
Yes, I think so. And I mean, the moment we make a real AI, you know, then we have become like God, basically. We put ourselves into that role.
Right.
And that really is the natural progression of the universe, I think.
Because who would have thought that there was a plant spirit? Well, you and I know, we all are getting to the point where we know that ayahuasca is the spirit of plants. Well, we can see that. So who's to say that there isn't one for the technology as well, for the machines? There could very well be. We just haven't maybe quite met it yet.
Yes, I absolutely think so. And I do think that psychedelics have sort of kickstarted many thoughts in people about technology. Like we talked about this last time, about the Stone Ape theory.
Okay, yeah.
The expansion of consciousness. So
yeah.
I think lots of technology also comes from this realm.
Yeah, who knows what we're kind of bringing out from that realm. Oh, that's right. Yeah, 'cause we talked about the pyramids and stuff. Like, who knows how those pyramids might have come out of that realm and somehow manifested here. Like, yeah, there's so much going on, man.
Yeah, and I think in terms of astrology, this would be Sagittarius. Sagittarius, as demonstrates, is kind of the scientist. So that's its spiritual path. And again, I talked sort of Odinist, Satanist way. Just Saturn. This is Capricorn, for example. This is the goat, it's Satan. So you can sort of see this in astrology as well. But it's really interesting because you have these astrological ages. Because you have the 12 zodiac signs. And they also have, ages in history which are about 2,150 years, I think they are supposed to be. And last age was the age of Pisces, the fishes. And of course, this is Jesus. Is the fish, is Christianity, right? And it's really what has defined the past 2,000 years, which is how long an age is.
2,000 years, yeah. There's something about that, like 2,700 year cycle or something, right?
Yeah, we don't know exactly how long it is, but I think it's like 2,100 years about. But now we are leaving the age of Pisces, and again, it can be discussed exactly when we leave, but we might already have left it in 2012.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and this is why people thought the world was going to end.
Yeah, it was a shift. It was a shift of consciousness that was taking place in 2012. Yeah.
So now we are in the age of Aquarius. And there's actually a pretty famous musical about this.
Yeah, we are the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yes, exactly. And Aquarius is also, it sort of represents technology and integration of everything. So again, the internet is really prime Aquarius example. And I think we're just going to see more of this age of Aquarius.
And hopefully we can start to use the technology like for the greater good. Like can we stop just like trying to sell fucking, you know what I mean, like fucking skinny tea on Instagram? Like can we start to use it for everyone's benefit and not just try to like have like clickbait fucking YouTube videos that are just about like the 3 best ways to fucking tie your shoes. Clickbait now. It's like we need to work. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess, but it's like anyway for me, just especially with this experience with ayahuasca, like it just showed me that like holy, like we've got to work together to improve things on this planet. While we still have a chance, like we're all here now, we have to start to work together and not argue about petty things and constantly dividing each other. Like it's time that we come together and recognize not everyone's the fucking same. Not everyone's going to get along all the time. We don't all have to sit down and fucking be best friends all the time. But we do have to try to do actually what's best for the greater good of our fucking species at this point. And that's what I took away, and that's what I see, because we only have one Earth, and we're messing it up. And we can start to do things that would improve it, and we should start doing that. And if you don't believe it, then, there are certain medicines that you can experience that will help you to understand. And they don't come in little fucking pill containers either.
No, yeah, I really think bringing this experience, into Western society would be essential for making this stuff.
It would make a change if all the world leaders got together in a shamanic ritual, and they all got together and had a couple ceremonies of a nice tall glass of fucking, deep dark ayahuasca. Things would change pretty quick.
Yeah, but I also think the world leaders, they know about this. They don't want people to have the experience because they want to control people.
They do like controlling people, and they don't like actually really want everyone to like get together and get along super
No, no.
well, because it's easier for them just to keep people kind of segmented over there and segmented over there. And it's like, don't worry, we'll take care of
Mm.
it. Like, it's like if you and I, if I was trying to sell my house to you, we could probably get together and come to an agreement on a fair price. But the real estate agents don't want that. No,
No, no, no.
don't talk to him. I'll talk to him for you, and then I'll get it jacked up, and we'll make an extra
Mm.
$5,000 each. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and just one thing with the Age of Aquarius, still, it's very interesting. In the Bible,
Hmm.
there's actually a verse where Jesus, he tells his disciples to go and seek a man holding a jug of water
Hmm.
and stay in his house.
Hmm.
And of course, Aquarius, if you look at the picture, is a man holding a jug of water.
Hmm. Really?
So it seems that this was actually predicted in the Bible already.
So Jesus was telling him to find a man hauling water.
Yes, a jug of water.
Huh. And that is the
So, so,
symbol for the age of
so
Aquarius.
this is sort of the Pisces giving over the torch to Aquarius.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
And you can see this in the Bible already. It's very interesting.
So we are switching over to a new age.
Yes,
It's
yes,
happening.
for sure.
Here
For
we
sure.
go. And we're at the damn forefront of it. Like, look how funny it is. It's like two people, it's like you and I, realistically, as terrifying as this is, like, we are actually, like, legitimately making some of the most sense of probably all the videos that got fucking posted on YouTube today. I would say realistically,
sure.
Ours is somewhere near the top. Like, probably Joe Rogan posted one, fucking Eckhart Tolle maybe, a few other, maybe RSD posted a few videos. Yeah, there are some other people making sense, but there's a lot of fucking nonsense out there. And it's
most is just garbage.
It's just bullshit. It's just fucking gossip and how to put your makeup on and fucking just all kinds of bullshit. And it's just like, this is the new reality. It's like just your average everyday people who've done some work and understand things coming together to talk in an actual cool way. I see this really is the new fucking, like, on YouTube and on podcasts, stuff like this. It really is becoming like the new fucking leadership. It's like the new leadership of our era, of our fucking generation, is videos like this getting pumped out. And like years from now, someone's gonna tap into this and be like, holy fuck, those guys were onto something. It's just like happened with Alan Watts. He like
for sure.
Years later, and Terrence McKenna, years later, after those guys were already passed away, people caught on to that shit and fucking blew up. Terrence McKenna is way more popular now than he ever was when he was alive.
Yeah, and it's really like this with everything, Oh, I mean, again, with like Jesus, for example.
Yeah, they hated him when he was
persecuted and killed, and many great authors as well.
Yep. Artists,
like
Van Gogh,
Kafka, and Nietzsche, and all this. Like, no one liked them when they were alive.
Yep, and they're more popular now than they ever were. So I really do think like what we're doing now is useful. It's like it's useful. I feel better about doing something like this because I'm like, no, man, we're doing the right thing right now. And somehow I got that sense in my experience as well. Like, we're building that next reality even now. We're like echoing out vibrations in a positive, productive way. And it's like, I'd rather do this if just 10, 20, 30, 40 people watch the video. It's still something useful and positive. Maybe they'll hear some of this and they're like, oh man, I'm going to check out some of this Age of Aquarius. I'm going to go look at Alex Gray's artwork. Let me go listen to Alan Watts. What are these guys talking about? Maybe I should do this instead of gossiping, instead of being fucking drunk at the bar with my dickhead friends. Like, maybe there's something better I can do. And I don't know, but like, I like that feeling. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get as many people as I can to have the ayahuasca experience.
Interesting.
I held a ceremony like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, you were saying.
I just find someone, and I even hold it for free.
Yeah.
usually like I think after the ceremony, the person in question can pay me if they want.
Yeah, donation. Yeah, that's fine.
So I really think it's that important. I think
it is. I felt after
just getting one person to have this experience can completely change.
Oh yeah, because it permanently just changes the way you see things. It's just like, oh my god, is that real? Like, woo. And I mean, my position's a little different. I feel if a person is called to the medicine, then I encourage them. But if they don't feel called, right now, maybe this would change over time, but right now I'm not necessarily encouraging a person if they don't feel called. That's just how I feel right now.
Yeah. It really depends.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah,
I think your average like McDonald's worker, maybe not.
Maybe not.
But like I think getting this to the politicians eventually is just a really big thing. Like to get many people to do it, and then eventually we'll have politicians take it as well. And then
it would kind of be necessary. Did we talk about Graham Hancock? Do you know who Graham Hancock is?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a legend. He talked about how the politicians, it should be necessary to do like 5 or 6 ayahuasca ceremonies if you're going to be president. And like that kind of does make sense. If you're in that position of power, you kind of should have to have some engagement with this extremely powerful spirit just to keep you kind of grounded of like, it's going to keep you grounded, man. So I do kind of agree with that.
Yeah, of course. In the old tribal societies, then the leaders would be completely in tune with this, and you would have the priests or the shamans who would also be a part of the decision process.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah, man. No,
100%. We have completely lost this, completely. It's crazy.
You do get that sense that we're like a spiritually bankrupt fucking society.
Yes,
like we're just spiritually just without direction. We're just like, whatever, I don't know, cut the trees down, it's fine. Fucking corporations can just suck all the resources out and pollute the planet. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I really don't know when it went wrong.
I don't
exactly, but it is materialism.
Big
for
time.
Sure. Like we believe that materia is all there is.
Oh yeah, like it's just the ultimate success is to get like a house with a 2-car garage, a BMW, and like like a couple pairs of expensive shoes and a watch. And it's like, as far as we're concerned, that is like the absolute pinnacle of life. And as long as you have, you and your wife, it doesn't matter if you and your wife fight all the time and one of your kids has a fucking drug problem and, your other one's fucking suicidal. That's all right. As long as you have that house with a fucking 2-car garage and a BMW.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fine. It's so nuts, man.
And the crazy thing is that, even the church, like especially the Christian church, has been also completely corrupted, basically, by materialism. Like, they only care about politics and
more money.
Wealth,
they want their 10%.
Well. And then you have the leftists, the Marxists, who have very good critiques of capitalism.
Oh yeah.
For example. But Marxism is a inherently materialistic philosophy.
Interesting.
It's called historical materialism.
Interesting.
So Marx believed that everything, the whole process of history, could be explained by distribution of resources in societies.
Huh.
That's all it is. It's just the distribution of material.
Yeah. Instead of a few people having a 2-car garage and a BMW, everybody gets a 1-car garage and a Volkswagen. Now it's fair.
Yes.
We're all still spiritually miserable. Shut up. You got your Volkswagen, now be quiet.
And then you have a pretty famous book by Jared Diamond. It's called Guns, Germs, and Steel.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
And again, he argues from the same perspective that, the only reason Europe has been so successful is because of these material factors. And of course, they are important factors in history, of course, but to sort of reduce everything to that, to reduce, a human being to resources, to material is completely fucked up, I've been reading sociology now at university.
Yeah.
And again, it's mostly Marxist philosophers, and like it's very profound stuff, actually. It's very highly intellectual, but they are completely spiritually defunct. They have never had this experience. They don't even know that it is a thing.
So many
they just think that it's like they think it's a mental illness.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Like that's how far we have come. That people who actually have connection to this, they are crazy. They are mentally ill.
Yep.
And we believe this.
Oh yeah, because that's the academics are all in that too. It's just everything's just dissected into this little tiny way of thinking, and they disregard like these huge fucking elements. It's like they'll disregard something like for example, if I were to talk to someone, I'd be like, oh cool man, okay, like are you in good shape? Like how many pull-ups can you do? And they're like, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it does, man, because it's finding out what are you spending all your time doing? Sitting around writing textbooks and shit? And they're like, well, I don't understand why doing pull-ups has anything to do with it. It does. It's just not easy for you to fill it into your little science experiment. And that's kind of what they're doing with spirituality. They're like, well, spirituality didn't have anything to do with it. Really, though?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And it really is dissection, as you said. It's the thing is when you dissect a frog, for example, which is something scientists would do. You get to know how the frog works mechanically. But in the process, you also kill the frog.
Yeah. Yep.
But what the shaman would do instead is to be friends with the frog.
Interesting.
And to just observe the frog and understand the sort of spiritual essence.
Interesting. That's right.
And then you don't need to kill the frog.
That's right.
And I think you can actually get a deeper understanding of a frog through that method than to dissect it.
And that guy who's doing that dissecting, he then goes home to his wife and he's like, okay, wife, I'm going to dissect you and learn how you work. Wife, does it work like this? Do you think like this? I figured it out. Now I know how to love you more.
Yes, and then you have dissected and killed the relationship.
Yeah, the relationship's been dissected and killed. It's like, okay, wife, if you do this, then I'll love you more. And you do that, and you love me more. Okay, good. It's all set now, and we love each other. Blah, blah, blah. And the wife's like, this isn't really working. I'm going to run off with the fucking idiot that works at the deli.
But again, with the law of one theory, they suggest that this is actually the masculine sort of spiritual path. It is it's logic. It's knowledge. It's to attain enlightenment through gnosis, through knowledge. But then the feminine spiritual path is then love, just through emotions. And I guess I think it is quite correct, actually. I think we have had sort of the female part has been pressed for too long in history, for sure.
Yeah. And now it's coming out in like the way that it's not even really supposed to, I think.
Yes, the bad side
It's like
is
coming
coming
out.
out.
It's like rather than the actual feminine, which you do get to see during ayahuasca, you experience the
Yes,
true
yes, that
femininity.
is the one. Yeah,
It's the
it is a
actual true
divine
femininity.
feminine.
And it's like you have massive respect for it because it does so
Yes,
much for us. And you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. And you're just in awe of it. Like how a man actually behaves with like a truly feminine woman. And you're like, oh my God, amazing. Okay. And then what's happened instead of that is we get these like, just these like small snapshots of, I guess, some type of like backlash against the oppression of femininity, which is true. That was taking place. We're like not allowed to vote and like
yeah,
not allowed to like drive a car, all this type of shit that was unfair. Now you get this backlash where like women deserve everything and women can do anything a man can do. It's like,
mhm.
oh, but like, is that even really true? Like, can you do everything? Like, it's not really the most optimal use of your time. Like, so again,
Mm.
I think there's this a miss. Like, there's kind of an overcorrection, and we're still missing the picture with that. I think.
Yeah, and I find it so ironic with like the forced diversity and feminism into everything, and like media,
Oh, it's
like
fucked. It's so messed up.
and and it's just with like superhero movies, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
and
It's like,
video games.
yeah,
The thing is that women want to be like these strong men that can sort of I don't know, kill someone
yeah,
with like superpower or something, but
yeah.
the divine feminine will not even do that.
That's right. That's right. And they're totally
Yeah,
missing the point. Like
yeah.
they're totally missing the point. And it's
Like
like,
you don't want to be some super strong super killer.
no, you don't. That's a
That's not at all what you want. You're supposed to
exact
sort of cure that.
exactly. And they're like accentuating these aspects of femininity that's like not even useful. It's like why are you
Yeah.
doing that? Like and 100% that is and it's not real. It's just fake and it's not good for anyone. So man, yeah, and it's it's funny because like we who are sitting here and have just like totally disregarded fucking modern feminism and liberal shit, and we both just think it's fucking bananas. It's not good for anyone, but yet we both are also both here speaking about say like our experience with like femininity in ayahuasca, and we're both in like absolute awe of that.
Yes, yes,
We're
yes,
just we just
absolutely.
have like absolute respect and admiration for that. We're just like, wow, it's incredible. Like we love it so much. And that's an actual experience of men towards true femininity is
Yeah,
we're in
yeah,
absolute support of it. We
yes,
love it. We
yes.
think it's amazing. We want to encourage it. And when we see this other weird shit, which is like modern feminism, we're like, what the fuck is this grotesque shit? Is
Mm,
nothing I want anywhere fucking near me. Because it's got, we see how different it is than the
yeah.
actual femininity. They're
Mm,
totally different, man.
mm. Yeah, and it's a huge problem. And
Mm.
no, just with because I mentioned superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I fucking hate them.
It's kind of pointless.
It's garbage. But
It's popcorn
you
shit
know,
for sure. Yeah.
they are part of our collective
Mm.
consciousness,
Mm.
and they are telling us that we are more than just human. That
Mm.
we actually have some sort of magic power.
Interesting. Yeah. Mm.
So they are sort of messaging this
Mm.
to everyone,
Mm. Mm.
and you see this a lot. Nowadays movies you see the supernatural sort of
True. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
telepathy,
Yeah.
our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a part of that. So
Yeah.
it is really important
Yeah.
actually. And the Marvel superhero movies, they have the Norse gods, for example.
True.
There.
Yeah.
So it is a way for them to also replicate and
Yeah.
sort of gain power through that.
Yeah.
So I'm fully in support of that, actually.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's like they want some Swedish dude to watch Thor and be happy about it, but don't you dare fucking don't you
Yeah.
dare actually engage with your fucking ancestors, you bastard.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
funny.
but I have really come to understand that every single piece of media, really every person, everything anyone says, it's really the universe talking.
Yeah.
It's God
Yeah,
that's
I know. Yeah.
talking to you
Yep.
in some way.
It's just like an ant is still nature, even though it's some
Yes.
creepy little ant. It's still just the same in a lot of ways as like an eagle. They're just
Yes.
different
Yes. Yes.
components. It's
Yes.
like
Yes.
a Marvel movie is still God talking, just like a beautiful
Yes.
painting. It's still the same thing. It's just different ends of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think there are some ways that are more ideal than others, but
for sure.
really everything is a spiritual path. Like
It's true.
everyone is on a spiritual path in some way. And
yeah, no, it's true.
All media, all movies, all art are a part of this.
It is true because like even like Fox News or like fucking CNN, it's like there still is like a beauty to it. Like it still is like unbelievably hilarious. Like even if you looked at like an ad, it is like if you looked at an advertisement in a magazine from like 1902, you'd look at that today and be like, wow, it's just so interesting. Like I can't believe they thought like that. Look at the way the advertisement is. It's incredible. And in a way, you can look at our current media like that. It's just like, oh my God, like how could anyone take that seriously? It's so bizarre. But it is reality.
Yeah.
Huh.
And again, it's sort of messaging to us, what is so obviously wrong. Like it becomes very clear. Again, with someone like Trump, Fox News, Alex Jones, it's very clear who's wrong. It's a very clear message from the universe.
Yeah, it's on both ends.
It has a function for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's on both ends. It's like Alex Jones is fucking hilarious. It's like Trump.
Yeah, he's great.
Like
I love him.
Yeah, he's fucking hilarious. Like he's classic, and like Trump's fucking hilarious. It's like just like fucking Hillary Clinton's hilarious. Like bitch, please. Like you were gonna be bombing some fucking village in Afghanistan as soon as you got elected. Like they're all just hilarious fucking creatures.
No, it's the jester aspect of God. It's the joke, divine, cosmic joke.
Just a big joke, bro.
It's Loki.
It's Loki out there causing jokes. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well. Yeah. So we.
Just one thing. I wanted to bring up just with Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Conspiracy theories.
Okay. Okay. What do you got?
Because the thing is, we shamans, for example, we have the sort of third eye sight, quite permanently, and children also have this.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. And I remember my mother. She told me about this when she was in love with someone. There was a child who sort of came up to her and started like popping these hearts in the air. Like the child could actually see hearts in the air.
Right. Yeah.
So you actually gain these visual representations of things, and it is a sort of more emotional, intuition-based way of thinking about things than what we are usually used to. And I think many conspiracy theorists are actually in this, they have this sense, right? But the problem is that they take their visions literally. That they don't understand what this actually is. So one example is with the lizard men. Right?
Oh shit! The shape-shifting
reptilians.
lizards. I know all about it.
Yes. So obviously this is not a thing, but the thing is that there are people, because we have this reptilian brain. It's the center of the brain.
Yeah.
It's where we evolved from.
Yeah.
So it's the most primal.
It's just like food, beer,
urges.
sex,
Yes.
kill, fight.
Yes. Yeah. So there clearly are people like psychopaths who have the reptilian part dominant.
Yeah.
And this means that if you have this sight, you might see these people in this way.
Yeah.
See, because you see this visual representation of this behavior.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And of course, psychopaths like to hide their true identity.
That's
so they
right.
are shapeshifters.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is actually a really good way to describe it. I actually completely agree with that. It's truth to what he's saying. Like, yeah, people are just fucking reptilians. A lot of them are just dummy reptilians. That is true. But yeah, you're right. It's just this behavior, and they are kind of hiding it and shape shifting, and that's fucking crazy. But I agree with that. Like, yeah.
So it is actually sort of true. When it's like these are people who have used this completely other way of thinking, or maybe just feeling.
Right.
To come to the same conclusion.
He like exaggerates everything, and he like sensationalizes everything. And
well, I'm not talking about Alex Jones necessarily, but like just conspiracy.
Oh yeah, like same with all that. Like, but there is truth to it too. Like even David Icke, David Icke.
Yeah,
and it's like it's like.
I like the Filthy Frank song about him.
Oh shit, I haven't heard that, but man, David Icke, he's fucking legend. He it's like still a lot of the shit he says like is actually true. Like the way he talks about how the media, it just like it's just a form of mind control that they are kind of using on you to get you into these narrow ways of thinking so that they can kind of control you. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand it. But he's just explaining it in a certain kind of way, and it's interesting.
Yeah. And the other thing that I noticed is Illuminati.
Right, Illuminati, yeah.
Because people realize that there is some sort of like conspiracy or something that is sort of keeping the truth from us.
Yeah.
And they do realize that it's symbolized by the all-seeing eye, the eye of providence. You know? And the thing is, I talked about Gnosticism before, and the idea of the demiurge, that there is this sort of false god which keeps us here in the material realm. Because when you go very far, it actually comes to you and it sort of blocks you from going further. And when you meet this thing, it actually is visually represented by the all-seeing eye. It's a triangle.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned that.
Right. So it seems that these people who believe in this Illuminati conspiracy, they have this sort of intuitive way of understanding this. But they don't really know what it is that they are understanding, but they somehow came to the same conclusion.
A lot of that stuff is like that. It's like they are speaking some truth, but they just kind of like package it in a way that's just like easily accessible to someone. And it's like, okay, yeah, people are kind of reptilians. That's true. And like, yeah, there is this kind of all-seeing eye. It's the Illuminati. It's like, well, it's just like a block in your consciousness that you can't really get past. It's just people who don't want to do a lot of work and understand things from a deeper level. It's just much more simpler for them to like listen to Alex Jones talking about fucking reptilians or something. And
yes, of course.
And there's nothing wrong. Like, at least he's speaking truth to a degree. But like, yeah, no, that's funny, man. That's a good way to look at it, man. That with the reptilians.
And by the way, with the demiurge, the all-seeing eye, I actually realized that this is the same god as Heimdall. in Norse mythology.
Oh, okay.
Heimdall. Because he's the guardian to Asgard.
No way.
And,
Oh, okay, that guy.
Yeah, and he has the eyes which can see
Right. I think I saw him in the
everything,
movie.
and he has the best hearing in the world also. So you see, it's the all-seeing eye. It's the same entity.
I think he was in the Thor movie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. He was guarding the place. Okay.
And the thing is that when you want to meet the real gods, when you want to go further, you have to go through.
Yeah.
You have to go past the demiurge.
That's right. Yeah, and if you don't, you're just like, oh, there's an all-seeing eye stopping me. It's the Illuminati. And it's like, okay, man, cool. But if you just did more work, you'd figure it out. And that's the same thing. I was like, there's someone stopping me. Everyone's keeping me down. It's like, dude, what if you just worked harder? No, I'm being kept down by the Illuminati. It's like, when's the last time you read a new book? When's the last time you ate a bunch of kale? When's the last time you meditated for an hour? No, I'm being kept down with the Illuminati. Are you though, man? Or could you just maybe meet some new friends that are fucking smart? No. The Illuminati did it. Okay.
And, you want to get past Heimdall. You want to talk to Odin, well, then you make an offering or something. You make a ritual. You show that you are worthy.
Do something valuable. Do the ritual. Do what's necessary, and you'll move up. And people, no. I don't want to do a ritual. I don't want to do any work. I don't want to read a book or fucking watch a video. Well, then good. Then you're going to be kept down by whatever you want. Your laziness or the Illuminati. What do you think's more realistic? Some fucking shape-shifting Illuminati group? Or you're just a fucking lazy loser who just wants to march around complaining that you're a big victim? Get it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ha! Okay, man. So that's what's up. We talked some serious stuff about ayahuasca, different dimensions, all kind of social justice warrior shit that's going on in Sweden and across the world, and all this, man. So what's going to be happening with you, man? You just did a ceremony recently, right?
Yeah, okay. I might hold one again pretty soon.
No way.
For a friend.
Wow.
And I'm gonna be starting on my thesis about ayahuasca.
Yeah, that's really interesting, man. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, wicked, man. Yeah, definitely. I look forward to hearing some more about that. That sounds like some really cool work, man. I'm glad that you're doing that. Are you the only one kind of doing that in your current university and stuff? Or?
I think so.
Yeah,
actually.
Probably. Yeah, I don't think it's like popular. Fucking
thesis. It is quite rare.
Yeah. Okay, man, that's sick. And I remember you were saying you were making like a shamanic kind of outfit. Did you finish that, or is that?
It's not quite finished yet, but
cool.
I'm working on it.
That's interesting, man, because that shit's important, bro. It's important.
Did your shaman have
a little bit? They had a lot of things there. They had a lot of decorations and everything, and they did wear a little bit of stuff, and it's interesting. It's all part of it, right? That's cool.
No, I have one picture on my WhatsApp, actually.
Cool.
You can look at it.
Okay, cool. I will. That's awesome, man.
That's a sort of half-finished.
Okay. Yeah, it's all part of it, man. It's all part of the experience, the intention, everything. Okay, cool, man.
But, yeah, I'm glad that you decided to have this experience as well. It sounded like you had a really good time.
Oh yeah. Major. I'm still learning from it and processing, and I'm writing about it. And from what I hear, it carries on. You carry on learning for weeks and months and even years, and it integrates itself. And
that's the most important part, I think, because of course the ritual is amazing.
Yeah.
Lots of colors and everything.
Yeah.
But it's also what you take with you from that. It's what happens after.
That's right. How do you integrate that? How do you implement that into your life and make changes? And of course, that's the most important thing. Okay, man. Well, yeah, this is awesome, man. I'm glad we could connect again, man, because I think it's really important for for us to connect and for people to have this type of conversations and to be able to share it with the community and have other people kind of check it out. And yeah, man, appreciate you coming on, and anyone who's watching, everyone who checks these videos out, man, thank you. And let's just try to keep the conversation going. If anyone wants to comment or whatever and ask questions for us, I mean, we can try to um, bring that up in the next video or whatever like that would be cool.
Yeah. As I said, I'm a shaman who makes ayahuasca as well. So if you have any questions, then you can
Awesome.
ask me.
And maybe Klaus will check the video once I post it, and if anyone comments, you can maybe hop in there and answer them best you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man. All right,
And
brother.
if anyone is in Sweden, you can hit me up. I can make something for you. Maybe.
There you go. Check it. There you go. There's the offer right there. So that's very
Yeah.
kind of you, man. Thank you for that. That's wicked. Okay, man. Well,
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Oh man.
It's really great to talk to you, and we can maybe talk again some other time.
Yeah, man. Definitely, bro. Let's talk maybe in the next month or two, and we'll try to link up and we'll see what's new, and maybe we can get some more progress going.
Yeah.
Okay, man. All right, brother. Thank you so much, man, and have a good day. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, man.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care, man.